Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of December 9, 2019 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board and on the Township website.
Who's coming?
Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones. Could everyone please stand for a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Bruno.
Since last week.
Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilman Cumming.
Here.
Councilman Omen.
Here.
Council President DeSena.
Here. Let the record reflect also in attendance Township Administrator Tobo, Township Attorney Pollard, Township CFO Judy Curran, and Township Clerk Susan Wachowski. Reading a total list of the bills.
The following is a list of bills paid since the last bill list was submitted representing November 1st, 2019 through November 26th, 2019. Total 2018 reserves, 0. Total 2019 current, $3,617,653.45. Total capital fund, $36,653.49. Total animal control, 0. Total grant fund, 0. Total trust fund, $24.56. Total escrow trust, $2,561.60.
Thank you. Approval of minutes, July 22nd, 2019, special public meeting. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bruno. Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman Omen.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. August 12th, 2019, regular meeting. August 12th, 2019, conference meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman Omen.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. August 26th, 2019, special public meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman Omen.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. Presentation by the Green Team. Mr. Sears?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak before the council. I'd like to bring you up to date on what we have accomplished, what we plan to do. I want to thank the council for passing the environmental purchasing policy. That was a big win for us on our dashboard, so thank you very much. We are already in the process of talking to the New Jersey Forestry for seedlings this year. I'll give you an update probably in another month when we find out what they're going to offer. One of the items that we had on our objective this year was the dog park. We had 3 spots that were picked out, and then we walked with Boswell Engineering. We have not heard back from him on the locations that we picked as a dog park. We do have some sponsors waiting, and we do have some calculations on where we would like to put it. So maybe you can reach out to Boswell and let us
That would be up to the administration.
know where we stand. We took measurements, we walked the 3 locations with them. So if we can get some update, now we know where to go forward.
Tom, what were the 3 locations you were looking at?
We had Sherry Field, Gardner, and down off of Beach Street, there's a little area between Hillsdale and Washington Township. I think it's Birch, Beach and Birch, right there.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. We'd like to thank the Scouts this year, the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts, for handing out the mosquito control flyers. They handed out over 400 to the residents along the lake and waterways, a great help. We have our community garden this year. We gave the seniors over 70 pounds of tomatoes and vegetables and over 20 pounds of different herbs. Talked to Mr. Bliss, and as you noticed last time we were here, we received the award. He told us he will give us more property if we would like it. So that's a go for next year. Our Safe Street program, the town received a silver certificate. Thanks to the group that put a lot into it, the green team. We are going for gold next year. Hopefully we can accomplish that.
Mr. Sears, if there's any assistance, I've done a bunch of safe streets to schools. So if there's any assistance I could offer you, just let me know.
Absolutely, we will take any help we can to get the gold. The gold moves us into a higher bracket for more money. The tree management program, I'm gonna bring everybody up to speed. The green team portion of that program has been completed. We are now into the second phase of the tree management program. We met with the auditor, and we went to the public properties. We reviewed the public properties. He'll be doing a write-up, and then I will be sitting down with the council. Right after the second phase, we will go into the third phase, which will be a drive-through around town, making recommendations on trees and things like that. And I did see Public Service took down a lot of trees, above and beyond what, kind of amazed. I really hope they're gonna replace some of them. They were terrific. So our tree program was on target, and I wanna thank the green team members, because each and every one of them added their particular part to this project. So thumbs up to the green team. Our waterway cleanup this year, we removed 359 pounds of debris out of Sherry Field and Gardner Field. That was the final count that the county gave us. And again, great job by the community, the high school kids, and the green team. Our next project is going to be the styrofoam recycling project. We joined the Bergen County Hub, which is a group of several towns in North Bergen County. We got together, and we were one of the towns that were awarded a $3,000 grant to purchase a styrofoam recycling bin. Now, the styrofoam that we will be recycling is called EPS styrofoam. It is the hard type of styrofoam. One second, I'll show you. I brought a piece. It is the hard type of styrofoam that you get package your TV in or any type of furniture, and it breaks off. The county and the state has declared this a hazardous material, and we were lucky to get our grant in because we were only about 8 towns that actually got the money to buy the recycling bin, the bags, and thanks to Judy and to our town clerk, Susan, they made that happen. Personal calls by Judy and Susan. We were teetering and not getting the grant, and both of them stopped in, and thank you very much. You made this happen, and you're gonna make the town a cleaner place. So we're also gonna have.
Is that active right now, or we still haven't opened it yet?
It will be active Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and the
I
reason.
noticed it was still wrapped up.
Yeah, well, we were gonna do it next week, but it was canceled, so, and I talked to Billy. Billy has the yard closed tomorrow, so what we're going to do is we're gonna unwrap it, secure it, put the bags in.
Could we ask the mayor to maybe put out a bulletin on the?
I have bulletins that I handed to our TV group. We have it on our Facebook. We have 2 signs that are made that will be posted alongside of the bin. We will also post some flyers on WCTV to explain the particular type. The Bergen County Hub made a kit up. I don't know if they could see it here, but I could show you if you want, or we'll post it upstairs. It's a great kit, and we're going to have these flyers out to the community. So we're going to have that in place, and we are actually...
That's starting Saturday.
Starts Saturday, yes. Thanks to Judy running roadblocks for us, we were able to calculate the amount of mileage to drop it off at the facility and the cost of labor to drop it off. So I included that into the budget that we sent down to the county. They accepted it, so we're going to have a free ride through our grant to transport this off. It looks like either Englewood or possibly Paramus may now be, or the county may be the new drop-off center for this type of styrofoam. We also met with Paramus. They made a personal call to the green team here. They would like to sit down between Washington Township and them to come up with a plastic bag type of ordinance. They've been working on it for a while. I have a meeting in 2 weeks with them to see how we're going to go forward. We need to figure out, if they stop it, who's going to pick it up and
Can we
where
just
it's
bite
going.
the bullet and go talk to the mic, go talk to Food Town and ask them to stop selling?
I know, well, that's great.
I love my Food Town bags, but they're all plastic.
So we are doing quite well on that, and hopefully we'll have that taken care of and ready for the community. We do have a new project called Fill It Forward, which is one of Patty's projects that we actually met down with Dr. Gonzalez and the principals of the high school. We're working with Mary in the middle school, who's the environmental group. The Fill It Forward project is every kid has a water bottle, and if they don't have a water bottle, we're putting into our budget a water bottle. On the water bottle will be a digital sticker, and every time the bottle is filled, they can scan the digital sticker and it will register that they filled their water bottle. Here is a sample of the digital sticker. It's a barcode. So every time they scan the water bottle, 2 cents will go into a fund dedicated to a water project in a third world country. We will get a monthly report on how many times the water bottles have been scanned, and that will give us a great idea on how much we are saving plastic-wise. This is going to be done in the middle school and the high school.
Do we ask IHA if they would be interested in doing it?
Not at this time. I really did not include them, but thank you. I will
Can we ask
definitely...
IHA, because I'm sure they would love to get involved in that.
Definitely will reach out to them. Thank you for that. So we came up with some numbers. If each kid scans a water bottle 3 times a day, and just to let you know, the schools have a water filtration system in there now. They just put that in. We will save 31 pounds of plastic a day. In 1 year, we will save 11,315 pounds of plastic going into the environment. So that is a great win. It's a great project. We are, thanks to the council, we were able to start a fundraiser. We have a 5-year plan with the middle school and the high school to move forward. That plan includes the database, extra water bottles, the labels that will be handed out. The high school and the middle school, they're going to be managing this out. The whole project is about $10,000. I sat down with the Oratani community, their charitable fund. If we raise $5,000, they will match our $5,000. So this weekend, we did a shake the can and a fundraiser. We raised $1,000. So if somebody would like to donate, please send a check to the Washington Township Green Team at 350 Hudson Avenue. Everything is controlled by our CFO and our treasurer. We met with them. They gave us the procedures to follow, and we handed everything off to them. And everything will be purchased through them, so they'll be all follow through. And Judy, thank you so much for the guidance on that. And Sue, again, I cannot thank you for getting us forward on this project. For 2020, Our cleanup is April the 25th. We will go back to Lincoln Park again because we did a short trip up there, and again, they're dumping up there. We have a tree planting project going on at Sherry Field and Gardner. We talked to our tree management person who gave us the proper trees. I put a call down to the state forestry, and we're trying to find out if we can get these particular type of trees, if they can get them for us at really a low price. I talked about our safe streets and our retail plastic bags. We're going to sit down with Paramus. The Bergen Hub, again, is going out and looking for some more grants, and they've been a great assets for us when we join them.
Can we look for a grant to get the auto recovery bin reopened?
Okay.
It's been locked now for like months, and
Really?
the recycling oil bin.
Yeah. Actually, we missed that. The county had
Oh,
one.
you didn't know it was locked?
I didn't know it was locked, but they actually had something offering for that. So I'll call down there tomorrow, and we'll see what we can work up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the green team, I cannot tell you, they're working hard every day. It's a lot of work. They're doing great things for this town. I got Diane joined us. She helped us a lot moving forward with the tree management. And my other members, they're all over today probably shopping. So again, thank you very much, and thank you for the support for the green team.
Well, thank you for everything
Okay.
you do, Mr. Sears.
Excuse
and
me,
Thank
your
you.
team.
Tom, can I ask just
Yes.
two quick questions? One is, you mentioned you walked through Lincoln and you noted dumping. Do you think it's, the occasional resident dropping a can of soda, or is it someone using it as a dumping ground?
It seems to be a gathering point for some locals, children. There's a lot of beer cans.
Do we add garbage cans there? Would that help?
It's back in the woods.
Oh,
Back in the woods there, And I know, it's, we did notice.
been there, done that. Okay.
Yeah, we did notice that down in Sherry Field, where the leaves are, there seems to be some local landscapers that they're dumping back towards the wetlands. We noticed the tracks back there again.
Okay.
So I don't know what we can do about that.
Okay. And the second question I had is, do you need anything else explicitly from the council or the administration to move forward with any of these initiatives?
We can use $4,000 to finish the water project.
All right.
But that would be helpful. Not until I read up what's the new grants that are coming out. We should find out probably at the end of this month what they're offering. Just to add, we also had our green team members attend Rutgers for particular CEUs to keep our standard up with the state. We actually are one of the highest ones right now. Art went to a class, the Councilman Cummings went there, Dan Scuderi and myself. These units keep us underneath the state tree maintenance laws, which is a great thing. We're actually working with the school now to see if we can get some of their maintenance people into these classes, because they both help us. And Dr. Gonzalez has been outstanding working with the green team, and we've been supporting them on their projects. We have a meeting in the middle school with their environmental group. I have a meeting 7:30 a.m. Wednesday morning with 20 of their environmental kids. They have a project that they're trying to do that we're supporting that will crush 600 styrofoam trays into a little block. The machine is about $20,000. It's not recyclable because it's waste, basically, but they can get rid of X amount of cans, X amount of bags, and it does go into the dump, but those 600 trays must be a block about that big. So that machine is around $20,000, and we're sort of like working with them to help them to get that grant. It's not recyclable. Eventually, Hopefully that the county will get the big recycle machine for our styrofoams. But, you know,
Thank you, Mr.
thank you. Have a good evening.
Mr. Tovo, would the grant writer that we have on retainer, would they be able to assist the green team?
Certainly.
And can, how should that interaction take place? Should Tom reach out to them?
I'll introduce Tom to the writer.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sears, and thank you to the Green Team. The mayor had a prior commitment on the, because we rescheduled tonight, so he is not here tonight. Report of council, Mr. Cumming? Mr. Ullman, I'm sorry, I'm looking at, start down there and work our way this way.
All right, thanks a lot, Michael. I guess the first thing I wanted to do was acknowledge the DMF for the work they've been doing on the leaves and on the snow. Last Saturday, I guess it was, they were on Van Emberg with the vac, cleaning out leaves, widening the street to make it passable. They came back a little later and pre-salted. When it started to snow, they plowed, and then they were back there on Monday or Tuesday picking up the rest of the leaves. So you see things on social media about who is working, who's not working, when are they going to get to my part of town. I could tell you, I know they're working. I believe they had 4 crews out this weekend with a vac, a couple of bucket loaders, and the leaf pushers. So, I think the town looks good. I think the leaves look good, so wanted to acknowledge that. I was looking at the agenda, and I saw that the project tracker is not on it, so there were a couple of things I wanted to discuss regarding that, so I'll just address them now while I have the mic. The first is, we were given on August 12th a series of documents about the Washington Township Police Department policies and procedures. I had a question about one of them, the subject of overtime and outside detail allocations. I guess it's outside billing. And I wasn't sure if these were adopted, if they were in effect. So I had reached out to Mr. Tovo on a couple of occasions. We finally hooked up, and the police sent a note that was unsigned, but it did speak to their interest in a policy. And I guess I just would like to note that the document that we were provided has a number of areas that are a concern of mine. I don't know if they are going to be incorporated into any final policy, but they talk about outside detail rates are based on the year's sergeant's salary. So I'm assuming that that means that there's a floor in the rate. Officers with longevity or those who have base salaries higher than a sergeant are paid based on their individual time at rate and a half. Again, I think that's probably appropriate, but my concern is that we're not taking advantage of newer police officers who have a lower salary since they're automatically being paid at the sergeant's salary. The other thing is that the special officer, who I believe is not a police officer, but they're going to receive compensation at the outside detail rate, which is the sergeant's salary. So I just find it, if that's the plan, I think it sounds like they're making a salary outside of the contract, providing for a salary over and above what's been agreed in the contract. And to be clear, the Washington Township Police Department memo states that they're aware of this. I just get concerned because it does say policies and procedures for the township. So if that could be noted when these meetings do take place, and these are codified, that we're ensuring that no one's getting more than they're entitled to. They should get certainly what they are entitled to, but I don't think they should be getting paid over and above what they're entitled to.
Okay, thank you.
I know Mr. Bruno raised last meeting a discussion about the director of the summer recreation director. As an aside, and after the fact, I mentioned the assistant director, and I just wanted to ensure that Mr. Poller was aware of that, if he had captured that.
I am.
Okay. The other item that I had is a question about Town Day. I know, Mr. DeSena, you were you were criticized quite a bit by a number of members of the public, and we had Ms. Velez, is it, come speak to the council and address Town Day, which I appreciated. And she did make a comment at one point about us not being Westwood and being able to turn down donations, and that sort of prompted me to review some documents that I had received as part of an Oprah. And it turns out we did turn down a donation from a business in town. Someone wanted to donate $1,500, and it was returned to that individual. And if I look at the list, I think the $1,500 would have been the second highest donation after Oritani Bank.
Does it say why we returned it, Mike?
It doesn't. It just says, well, there's a note where one employee is asking Ms. Velez, did we get the check from Exxon for $1,500? And then there's a table in the back that indicates originally donated 15, but returned on 10/4 by the WTPD. But it doesn't explain why. So I don't know why we would turn down a donation from a business in town. They seem to be a legitimate business in good standing. I don't know, but perhaps
Okay.
We could find that out. I don't know if you are aware of that, Mr. Tovo?
I am not.
Okay, so may I ask you, Mr. Tovo, if you could relay that to the mayor, and if he could advise us why we're returning donations from businesses?
Will do.
The last thing is the security system in town, in Town Hall. Access control, I believe, is how it's defined. And on the 21st of October, I had made a Oprah request specific to the access control, and I asked for business requirements, bid specification, bid advertisements, copies of bids received, electrical diagrams supporting the work performed to date, and copies of bills, purchase orders, checks issued, and things of that nature. And, you know, in reading through the documentation, I guess I am concerned and, you know, how this project got off the ground and where it's going, what the ultimate goal is, because we seem to have paid $6,800 to a vendor for wiring, and the last few updates have been we need to determine the next steps. In my opinion, if we're paying out $6,800 for wiring, we should know what the next steps are. You know, it was noted that the initial project was for approximately $90,000. Mr. Tovo noted at the September 3rd meeting, that there was a working estimate that was $90K for enterprise, then it came down to $40K. And I guess I would like to understand what the 90 was, what the 40 was, what we're looking to achieve here through, and I think we would understand that if there were business requirements, but there aren't. Additionally, we paid $6,872 to a vendor, Planet Networks. There is a estimate with a note to pay $20,000 for cabling completion, and that was approved on 7/18. So I'm trying to understand why we're approving a $20,000 payment for cabling when the cabling only costs $6,800. Again, I don't know. I know we were given a lesson in Oprah and Oma over the weekend, so I'm coming to the council to discuss it, so it's not done behind closed doors. There's a series of emails that go back and forth between members of the administration and members of the vendor. And, there is a sort of, let's see how we proceed, let's do it sort of on the fly. Give me a price to install it, and let's see where we land. There's a question about a request for a wireless arrest button, and why are we putting it in, and what purpose does it serve? And it seems like no one knows, or it's not clear in this correspondence. There's also a note that I'm putting the finishing touches on the quote. When I looked at the other company's quote, I noticed a wireless arrest button. What purpose would that serve? So I guess I'm trying to understand why we're sharing quotes among companies. This should be somewhat competitive, I would think, if we're trying to get the best price for the town. I originally had budgeted for access control. I'd just like to ballpark it at $50K. That was before I had hard pricing from you and the other vendors. Now that the budget is approved, I'm looking to find the balance. I mean, I would think if we're gonna spend $50K or $90K of taxpayers' dollars, we should know what we're doing, why we're doing it, have bids out, get bids back, have firm quotes. Do we pay deposits? Do we have, we have businesses looking for deposits. Do we typically pay deposits on work?
Not allowed to.
You're not allowed to. And if there is, can a contract be written where, as work is complete, payments are made?
I've never seen that before, only actually when you go out to bid and you have a progress bill, like when you have a change order and you're paying it partially going down. I've never seen it as far as when you didn't have a bid, formal bid.
Okay. Again, some of these could be taken out of context. There is a possibility. The original estimate you provided on 3/28, can you change it, the title from estimate to quote? I mean, I don't know, is that just a bookkeeping issue, or are we trying to advance something, or are we trying to get a quote so we could pay? Again, I think that this project, if we've paid $8,000 or $7,000 for wiring, and we don't know what the next steps are, and then we have a problem. And I think that this needs to be looked at. I think that we probably should go out to bid and have business requirements, get a bid, and, you know, if we're gonna move this forward, have a full understanding of where we're gonna wind up and what we're actually asking for.
Anything else, Mr. Allen?
No, that would be it.
Mr. Cumming?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. We just passed Pearl Harbor Day, just a remembrance of that. I was privileged at one point to be able to stand on the deck of the Missouri where the peace treaty ending the war was signed. It was a thrilling moment to stand where I'd only seen the newsreel footage, and I hope that you all remember that. The Green Team, we were very active on Saturday. I put on my warmest clothes, went out to the intersection, and people were nice and generous to me, probably because they took pity on what it may have been a poor shivering senior citizen out there. But they were fives and everything in the bucket. It was wonderful. We took in some money. I had a recent interaction in the past few months and during the whole year with the building department in town, and I had excellent response and service out of them, and I was also sent to Upper Saddle River because I have special privileges as a councilman, and you're sent out of town for a good reason. And they took wonderful care of me, as did our own people. The tree lighting was a tremendous success, I understand. I'm sorry I did not attend it. I was resting my back with my back brace on, flat on my back, and could not make it, unfortunately, because it was bunches of fun, apparently. My HVAC management system is slightly delayed, but coming along, I believe. Mr. Tovo and Mr. Lawler are helping me with an updated list of equipment so that we get everything done properly and we have the right counts. I had one quote that was not the same as the other quote, counting the wrong number of units to be controlled. So we can't have that. And I have noticed and been told that the turf blankets have been installed at Memorial Field, so I think we're looking at greener pastures, to steal a phrase. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Cumming. Mr. Bruno?
Yes, thank you. So I guess this could possibly be my last report while I have the microphone. Although Mike Ullman's report sounds like we got the Wild Wild West going on here. But anyway, I'd like to thank all those who supported me throughout the 4 years and also my 3 campaigns. And who knows, maybe there'll be one more left in me, I'm not sure. My wife and Sandy and I have lived in town since 1984. We raised our 2 boys here, and we both actively volunteered our time for years. So I'm not planning on going anywhere at this time. I feel there was so much accomplished, and I'm delighted that the taxpayer was able to feel some relief with 4 years of municipal tax decreases and the proper use of over $5 million of cash sitting idle for years. As I was recently told, do the math. It's a lot of taxpayers' dollars for which we were all double taxed. It's been a tough road, and knowing what I know now allows me to stay on top of things. Whether I'm sitting on this side of the room or in the audience, I will not allow the residents to be taken advantage of. There are still too many hands in our pockets. But the good news is that the state agencies are aware and there are active dialogues taking place. Lastly, I'd like to thank my wife Sandy, who knows and has always been there and is sometimes, for me, the voice of reason. We hope no family ever endures the level of personal attacks that we went through, which apparently seem to be continuing. I learned a long time ago that in life, people who are trying to bring you down are already beneath you. So to all you folks out there, have a Merry Christmas and have a happy and healthy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno. Dr. Casio?
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming out tonight. I got some things that, I went down to the League of Municipalities down in Atlantic City for municipal employees and elected officials. And I just want to share some things, and I'm going to give them over to Sue when I get a chance. There's so many programs that the state has and the federal government has for municipalities to help us out. So I just thought I brought some to everyone's attention. The first one was, there is a Department of Local Aid and Economic Development, and they help us with funds with roads and other things that we can use with the municipality, such as road programs, highway safety funds, bikeways in the township. So there's a lot of money out there. Hopefully we can tap into that. And Sue, if you could make copies of that for the rest of the council and for Mr. Tovo, I think that would be important, because I'm a little disappointed, frankly, with the administration this year. We did tax to residents $700,000 to improve the roads in the township. And when I was going around campaigning, I told people, listen, we put money into the budget and your local roads are gonna get done. I became a liar, because that's not the case this year. No roads were paved, though we collected your tax dollars. And I'm a little embarrassed by it, to be quite honest with you. So hopefully next year, if we put money in for roads, it gets spent. At this point, I don't think I'm gonna put any money in until what was already taken is spent on roads. Just a little warning. I don't like, as Mr. Bruno, we don't like our residents double taxed, do we, Bob?
We don't.
No, we don't. So, again, hopefully we can get on the ball this time with the administration. If we're gonna give you money, please spend it. The other thing I ran into is a couple vendors, and this is just one called Green Chip. They have programs where they collect all our electronic waste programs. They do it for free. A lot of other vendors do it as well, but they make money on selling the plastic goods to other companies and recycle it. So again, we had a little program with Westwood a couple of years ago where we gave them $100 a month, $1,200 a year, and they were collecting our electronic waste. A good deal, and somehow that went by the wayside. So hopefully, Sue, we can contact them and vendors like them and get that going. There's a organization called the New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association. They help municipalities manage their parks and recreation departments. Great organization, and hopefully we can contact them, Sue, and get them on board, since we have a little problem with our rec departments at times, getting some things, not that we have problems, we could be a little bit more efficient. And the other thing that caught my interest as a physician is a fund that New Jersey has from the Division of Disability Services, New Jersey Traumatic Brain Injury Fund. You know, sometimes we have car accidents or slip and falls. Well, there's a resource that can get you physical therapy, neuropsychological evaluation, speech therapy, cognitive services, pharmaceuticals, if you've had some type of concussion or brain injury. And let me just read over some facts. Motor vehicle collisions and falls are among the top causes of TBI. The most requested service is cognitive therapy. They supply a case manager. The average award through this fund is $8,200 towards physical therapy with a lifetime cap of $100,000. And right now, this fund serves over 2,500 residents in this state of New Jersey. So if you know someone, or you have had a brain injury from an accident, please contact them and use the resources that the state has. You know, we're getting taxed a lot. I expect that we should be able to use some of those tax dollars back in our own pocket. Again, the league was excellent this year, a lot of information. Mike was down there, Sue was down there with me. There's a lot to learn and a lot of resources that we can definitely use and bring back to the township. And one of my goals as a council person to do that, to make sure the residents get the services they are paying for. Because we are paying for them. There's nothing free out there, as you well know. So, and that'll conclude my report tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Gassia. A few quick things. Thank you, Mr. Sears, for your Green Team presentation and all the things the Green Team has done this year. The tree lighting ceremony was wonderful. Thank you to all the volunteers and Mrs. Velez's group for getting that done. It was a wonderful event, very well attended. Was proud to be a resident that night. It kind of brought the community together, I think, even more. And I'd just like to congratulate the new chief of police, Mr. Skinner, and Captain Calamari, and Mr. Pecora for being in the running for our new leadership in the police program. So I just wanted to congratulate them publicly tonight, and that's all I have tonight. At this time, do I have a motion to open the public discussion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody like to come up and address the council at this time? Mr. Werfel had his hand up first, sorry.
Mike Werfel, 880 Crest Place. My question is around something that was covered in the last meeting. It was interesting to me. It was an increase in Social Security payments. And the question was asked, and the answer given was, to me, quite alarming. Because we have the CFO, we also have an administrator, and they should both be well aware that changing from part-time to full-time status has no impact whatsoever on your Social Security payments. What does is salary. When salary is given by the council through ordinances, it should be extremely easy to calculate what the Social Security and Medicare payments are. They're done by statute. They're always the same. So if for any reason there's additional Social Security, that means somebody was paid more money. So can either the CFO or the administrator explain that to me?
I can explain.
You just talk into the microphone.
It does have to do with the fact that it was full-time people, okay? And I think what happened was I didn't prepare the budget, and what happened was there was actually part-time people the previous year, and I think it was looked at, amount of Social Security that was spent the prior year, not taking into effect that you were going to have full-time employees in the year of 2019.
Well, it's strictly based on pay.
Right, you take the salary times 7.65%.
Yeah.
They did not think about the entire salary for full-time people, and that's what happened.
Well, how does that happen?
I don't do the budget.
I mean, it's a really simple calculation.
I don't
You
do the
make
budget.
X at 7.65, that's what I don't understand.
I don't do the budget, so.
Yeah.
So we're looking into where the mistake was made.
Yeah, it just seems like because we were on a discussion about salary being kind of, for lack of a better term, wishy-washy with the staff around here, that would appear to be one of the culprits. I mean, hey, if you wind up with additional Social Security, there's usually a reason. It's you're paying somebody additional salary. Who helps in terms of figuring out, for budgeting purposes, hey, we're going to pay somebody more money, we should have additional Social Security? Is there any professional involved in that calculation?
Currently, the payroll department assists with those calculations.
Is there any explanation you could give for why a payroll department would be deficient in such a remedial task?
I cannot. It's being looked
Okay.
into.
Who does our payroll?
Purchasing and payroll are one and the same.
I'm sorry?
Purchasing and payroll are one and the same.
No, I'm saying, do we have a
In-house.
company? Do we outsource it?
It's in-house.
What's
We
that?
have we have a payroll clerk that does it and submits it to the,
Okay. And then, because I saw it come up, and I think there was some discussion online about how we found out about the police chief, and Mike, you kind of alluded to this as well. Can someone enlighten us as to what may or may not have changed with the Open Public Meetings Act that has caused us to have some strange, hey, we shouldn't have group emails going directly between the mayor and the council? Because that would seem to be a very efficient way to get things done, but perhaps you could enlighten us. Ken?
You want to know why there can't be emails back and forth? What do you want to know?
Yeah, that's what Mayor Calamari alluded to in a public post yesterday.
What I think, well, I don't know what this specific interaction was, but generally speaking, you don't want 3 council people being on an email because that is an effective majority of the council, and work and decisions can be made outside of the Open Public Meetings Act. So therefore, you could imagine if an issue came up and 3 councilmen decided they were going to email each other and say, how you voting, what do you think, they could be conducting business which would be kind of binding and would be violating the Open Public Meetings Act. They're supposed to act only in public, and that's what the Open Public Meetings Act is all about. So it's a problem if there are discussions back and forth when there's that many council people on.
No, I just meant in sort of Peter using Susan as a go-between, how does that nuance improve that dynamic?
I'm not Peter, So
No, I'm just asking
I
because-
wasn't part of the discussion.
All right. It was just, he put it out there, so it was a little confusing to me. I didn't understand why using a go-between would somehow correct that problem, because I thought it was more of a council problem than a mayoral problem.
Well, I can, again, when you start to surmise, then of course the next question comes, and so it's problematic to surmise, but I'll take the first step, and if I get myself in trouble, I'll do it. But I can imagine where if Peter, as the mayor, wants to get a thought across to the council, he can do that. He's not a part of the council, which is what we're talking about, the Open Public Meetings Act. If he sends a email to Sue, she could just send out an email from the mayor to all the council people. There's no discussion and there's no meeting per se, okay? And that's as far as I'm gonna go in terms of the interaction, okay?
No, I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Mrs. Grimaldi?
May I just go back for a minute on the Social Security? So we approved $23,000 of Social Security, which equates to about $380,000 of salaries. So, which I know you know that. I think a piece of it is salaries we paid that were not budgeted. And I think the other piece is improper budgeting. But I don't, Mr. Tovo, I don't think, I've been here 4 years, and I don't think the payroll clerk has ever, as far as I know, provided that number to the council for a budget. Usually it come from our past administrator. And probably if I went through the minutes, I asked the question every budget meeting as to whether or not the calculation of the Social Security is a function of the payroll. I don't sit and calculate it, but I think that's what happens. So next year, I think we need to do more due diligence and pay attention to the total salaries and the percentages. And obviously, there are some salaries that reach a point where it might affect the Social Security. So I think you have to rethink the budgeting next year.
Understood.
Mrs. Grimaldi?
Diane Grimaldi, 441 Van Emberg Avenue. First, I want to thank Councilman Ullman and Councilman Bruno for their 4 years of diligence and service to our township, and appreciate it. I know a lot of people appreciate it very, very much. And I want to wish the council members-elect all the best of luck in this next year. My first question, and I know the answer probably, but Mr. Pollard, can you elaborate a little on if there's going to be a closed session, and I know it's litigation and Viviano. Can you shed a little light?
I can't shed any light because I didn't ask for it. I
The
have no
council-
idea.
the council
I have
does.
no idea.
Okay, okay, thank you. Next question also, Mr. Pollard, has the township gotten any final decision from the special court master or the court on about how many units the township is going to be required to have under the COA?
Well, we do have a settlement agreement, but we're waiting for the report. I know we're all waiting for the report. Matter of fact, the T&M communicated with the court master today because we were told that the time frame was something like she was expecting to have the report in by, say, mid-December, okay?
It was August at one point, right?
You know, it's been
It's been
August, it's been
last
January,
year.
September, October, well,
Yeah.
I just saw another email today, because, you know, there are some ongoing things that go into the settlement itself. And we are waiting for this report. All of our materials are before the court master. So the scenario was going to be, the last scenario I had heard when I actually was in communication with the court master myself, was that she thought she would have a report mid-December, and we need 30 days for a notice for a compliance hearing, which is the thing that we
Right.
need. And we have been extending the immunity date, as you probably know or may not know, I'm not sure. Okay,
I'm not sure who's
Okay.
extending what.
Well, I apply to the court. Each time the court master doesn't meet a deadline, the township has to extend or request an extension of the immunity time period so that no developer can sue the town while this is pending. So, and that, there's been a lot of extensions due to the process with the courtmaster. So that was the scenario that I thought she had said mid-December. I did see an email today that she said that beginning of January, she should have her report. So that's the last I've heard. And actually, that's an email from today. Again, this is not anything we do. This is not anything we hold back. This is, matter of fact, it's not something I look forward to because, you know, we want this resolution to go through
Settled.
and done.
Yes.
So that we're settled. And, you know, it doesn't do us any good to have it delayed, but the courtmaster is the courtmaster, and it's her show to a certain extent.
And last, we've all read that the township received $200,000 in a state grant recently for the resurfacing of Ridgewood Road. And people want to know, which Ridgewood Road is that? Is it the one that,
It's in front of the temple and.
It's the extension.
it's the one, it's the extension,
Yeah,
okay, so
it
it's
is
not the
public-
county road?
It's not the county road, it's the public
It's a
road.
Facebook question that people were wondering. Okay. That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Would anyone else like to address the council at this time? You're next, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, Julianne Lipnick, 184 Finnerty Place. To just coin any realtor, location, location, location. I have to ditto what Mike Ullman said. I'm here 35 years. I am so thrilled where my house is located. I have never seen the DPW work as hard as they did on Friday. I came home a half a day from work. That vacuum was going. My husband ran out to give them water to drink. Not only did they clear the street, the piles of leaves, they were chopping ice. I know the one guy, his name is Bob. I don't know who the other man was. But my congrats to them. They are exemplary employees, and I really and truly do believe they should be duly noted for that.
They've done a fantastic job this year.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. When they chipped ice, especially even the ice on the foot of my driveway, which is Devon Road, I was absolutely amazed. That being said, James Stickle had a vision, and his vision was the memorial at the library, which is a stellar thing to look at. And again, location. My husband's a vet, a Navy vet from Vietnam, and his brick is there. I attended the dedication, and it was just awe-inspiring. The only thing that I'm asking going forward, I understand that that is where all of the Memorial Day and Veterans Day will be taking place. There are a lot of vets that are listed on the board at the foot of the town hall. Please do not forget that spot.
We have plans on possibly moving it, Mrs. Whitman.
Well, if it get, the board itself?
The honor board and the monument to.
Oh,
the new
okay,
location.
that's wonderful.
And I believe the VFW is providing a gazebo there for the vets
That's
to be able to
wonderful.
sit
If
there
they
also.
weren't, I was just going to ask that a wreath be placed there, even though the ceremony is
You are
down the
absolutely-
street,
yeah.
just not to forget them. Mr. Tovo, I did get a phone call today. I missed it. I did get a phone call from Gottenheimer's office, and I called back. They will be back in the office on Wednesday, and hopefully we will meet, because they did address the fact that they were calling about the postal. I gave up here. I go to Hillsdale. Okay. That being said, I'm sorry that the mayor is not here. Those were all my positive notes. My negative has to come. The days of social media is just taking over the planet. As a resident, I was absolutely appalled by our wonderful planning board, and if I say his name wrong, I don't really care, Vinnie Vinegre, and his verbiage and disgusting language, I don't care. He is a planning board member. He represents town in general. And the words he used on social media because someone else voiced an opinion. Mr. Bruno, I am one and I will ditto what Diane just said. I don't want you to go away. I want you to stay here in spite of what he said. Mr. Ullman, I applaud you too for your 4 years. I am pleading, and I am not the only one that feels this way. I would hope that the mayor would have you as our director of finance.
1 minute.
Because I think you have done an outstanding job watching our tax dollars. I am afraid going forward. I don't know the women that will replace you two. I've never met them. But I kind of have a problem with somebody that won't even reveal their age. So my question is, how transparent will they be going forward? I don't think they'll be as transparent as you guys were. So I am really and truly hoping that the mayor appoints you as the director of finance, because you have done a stellar job. Thank you for watching our money.
Thank you, Ms. Lippman. Would anybody else like to address the council at this time?
Good evening, council. My name is John LaRusso. I reside at 335 Jackson Avenue. First of all, thank you very much for all your time and services you guys put forth. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but, you know, as town people, thank you. Last spring, on a weekend, late spring, the township decided to cut down some trees along the backyard of our property, also the back of the parking lot.
Yes.
I know my neighbor's voiced his opinion, and I just want to know if there's any plans on planting new trees, making something nice, just to give us more privacy from the large white building and cell tower that I see every day off of my deck. I don't know if there's any plans coming the spring, the summer, if there's anything in the future that maybe has been discussed,
The council thought it would have been done by now, but it's been delayed, I guess, till spring, Mr. Tova?
The property owner wants to do it in the spring, so if I give you my card, can you contact me so we can
Oh, yeah,
address your property
yeah.
as well?
I would greatly appreciate that. Thank
Mr.
you
Tova,
very
are we
much.
gonna address the entire back lot line?
We're gonna work with all the residents who want something additional.
Why not be
done.
proactive and just plant the whole line?
Well, because if somebody doesn't want something else planted there, why would we do that?
Is it gonna be on our property or theirs?
No.
Ideally, we would probably be on their property. There's
Well-
still lots of a carport in the back there, so.
Well, we took, I mean, it's not worth relitigating this because it's done, but it was done. We took down trees because we wanted to provide parking for vehicles, which I understand, and there was a concern about the sap dripping on the cars. So we took a chainsaw and cut down probably 20 trees, maybe more. And there, again, there was no plan on how to address it. And those were mature trees that were quite tall, provided quite a bit of
Privacy.
screening. And now, you know, it's like, not in my backyard. Well, we are in their backyard.
Why
And-
can't we just plant green giants, the whole row, from one end to the other? They grow 1.5 feet a year. We space them 3 feet on center as per the nursery.
I'm not asking for full coverage, just something to sort of screen it through, you know?
If we plant 8-foot green giants that grow 1.5 feet a year, you'll already be above your fence. And it'll be 10, 12 feet high in 2 years. I just don't see why it's taken so long.
Okay, thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Yep.
If I may make one comment, when we did find out they chopped your trees down, I know your neighbor was here, it's been on the agenda time and time again, and there's still no trees. The only thing I will say, though, is I heard Mr. Sears say something about trees at a cheap price, so we might want to talk to him if we can tag on to whatever he's buying, Mike.
We already have.
Huh?
We already have.
You what?
We've already spoken to
Okay,
Mr. Sears about that.
so
To get
he's
trees through his program.
buying trees for us in the back?
Well, he hasn't bought them yet, but we're gonna look to include our purchase with the green teams.
So what type of trees?
There's a variety to choose from.
No, but I mean, okay. I mean, I like river birch because you'll never see anything once they grow. Cars won't be able to park there either, but who cares?
Yeah.
The green giants are the easiest thing. I go to Mawa right now and buy them for $75 a piece. I don't know why we're wasting time on this. It makes no sense to me. Mr. Sears does a great job. His little saplings are like a foot tall. We need 10-foot trees minimum of arborvitae to put there. It's not,
thank you.
it's not rocket science. Sorry,
Thank you.
I'm getting emotional.
And why should we put them on their property? It's our problem.
All right, anyone else like to address? Mr. Doyle?
Good evening, Kevin Doyle, 655 Fern Street. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the council for your very, very impressive and very hard work that you put in for 2019 for our town. 2019 was a very important year for our township. A lot of issues had to be addressed. Some of them were addressed and some of them weren't. But I'd like to thank each and every one of you for how hard and how tireless you worked to provide the residents of this town with a dedicated service. We are taxpayers. I know I might not be one yet, but this is a very important town in Bergen County, especially in the Pascack Valley. But as you all know, I'm a lifelong resident. I'm proud to be a resident. This is my home. This will always be my home. And the reason why I'm so proud of this town that I call my hometown is because of the council, for how hard and tireless you work to truly make our town a better place, not just for now, but most importantly for the future of residents who reside here in town and those who want to reside here in town. Second of all, I'd like to thank Councilman Bruno, Councilman Ullman, for your 4 years of dedicated service to our town council. You provided services that we needed desperately. Councilman Bruno, you addressed the financial situations of our town. Thank you. Councilman Ullman, thank you for all of your hard work also. I would also like to wish good luck to the 2 new elected councilwomen who will be joining our town council in 2020. Like I said, 2019 was a very important year. A lot of issues had to be addressed, and I truly do hope that in 2020, those issues will be addressed further. We continue to make progress for our town, and most importantly, that this town stay a great town, not just in Bergen County, but all across the 566 communities across the state of New Jersey. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for your hard work in 2019. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and let's hope that 2020 we will continue to move our town in a great direction. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. Would anybody else like to address the council at this time? Seeing no one, motion to close the public discussion?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinances, adoption, second reading, none tonight. Introductions, first reading, none tonight. Resolutions, consent agenda. All of the following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from the consent agenda. Resolution 19-317, authorize the mayor to execute the shared service interlocal agreement with the Borough of Westwood for Teen Night Program. Resolution 19-318, authorize refund of overpayment of Q4 property taxes, Block 2505, Lot 7, 993 East Glen Avenue, in the amount of $4,325. Resolution 19-319, authorize submission of application for year 2020-21 Bergen County Community Development Grant applications in the amount of $50,000 to be used for ADA improvements to Sherry Field project. Resolution 19-320, resolutions calling for the Study Commission to review the Open Public Records Act. Resolution 19-321, awarding contract to administrative agent. Resolution 19-322, rejection of all bids for contract for Memorial Field and Gardner Field basketball court renovations. I'd like to pull 319 for discussion, gentlemen, if that's okay? So if we can vote on 17, 18, 20, 21, and 22, unless somebody would have something else pulled.
Can we talk about 320?
Sure.
Before we pull it?
You want it, 320, Sue, that's yours, right?
I'd like to pull 321.
You want to pull 321? Okay. So we're going to pull 19, 20, and 21. So we're going to vote on 17, 18, 19, and 22. Do I have a motion for those four?
I thought you were pulling 19.
We are, I'm sorry, we're voting on 17, 18, and 22. Thank you.
No problem.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Omen?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. We'll start with 19. This is a great asset. Hopefully, the county will provide additional funds. Mayor Sopwitz, before I got elected to council, asked me for a project, and we worked out getting the ADA spaces and parking at both Clark Field and Gardner Field. We've received numerous compliments from many towns when they come to play baseball that we have this ADA parking right by the fields. It's been a wonderful asset, and hopefully the county will come through and give us this money so we can make Sherry have an ADA walkway and parking spaces, just like our other two fields do. It's a great asset. So that's all I have for that. You wanted to pull 20, Mr. Ullman?
Yeah, I guess, and Sue, perhaps you could just explain this, because there's a lot of whereases and things of that nature. So what are we really asking for?
Well, because look, Senator Weinberg is not going away anytime soon, and there's still teeter-tottering of how things should be presented, OPMA, along with Oprah. And so the Municipal Clerks Association of New Jersey put out a resolution for all the towns to take a look at, present it to the governing bodies, to get a commission together to actually sit down and review it and sit down with her, discuss it, and try to have some better resolution. A number of different organizations have tried to no avail. So maybe by going to a commission, this will help, understand the process that we as clerks do with our everyday. We stop, we put time in, we take time out, we juggle our schedules, try to get everything done within a certain time period. So it's just basically get together and present as a group.
Is your view that this is a positive or a negative, or you're indifferent, you just like to see it studied as a clerk?
I think it's going to help, because Senator Weinberg's been talking about this for years, and she will start with this long list, then she shortens it, then she increases it. Something's gotta be done, because we're on a teeter-totter. And we would like her to understand our feelings as clerks and what we go through on a day-to-day basis. So it can't just be, we're trying to be transparent, she wants transparency, but there's gotta be a mutual understanding and a mutual presentation. So if we get in like a neutral commission together, maybe that would pull us together better.
I mean,
I know,
it's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work,
Okay.
a lot of work.
Mr. Bruno, you had asked for 21?
Yeah, I just want to, just to tag on to that for a minute. Do you know the statistics that you provided, how we compare to other towns? So you have 457 in 17, 441 in 18, and you probably end up with 450 or so in 19. Do you know how we compare to other towns, Sue?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were talking to me still.
Yeah.
Just went on to the next one. Well, every town's got, if you look at Teaneck is up in the newspaper. They just lost a lawsuit for denying things, and I don't want to ever be there. Our numbers, we fluctuate, it seems like every year we do go up. We're in the upper 400s right now, and I believe last year we were at the end of 300, so you know what, we increase every time. Mr. Poller, I only go to when I absolutely feel I have to, it's something I cannot handle. I will present it to him, he will research, he will get back to me, we'll work together on a resolution on it. But it's an ongoing thing, and a lot of it is too, could be property record cards, it could be something very simple, that doesn't take much time. But then you get things that are more detailed and in-depth, and that's where it weighs everybody down, because we as clerks and in the smaller towns don't have the staff. We do it all ourselves, we don't have one person to do Oprah.
I might also throw something in there also, just from my observation, is that one of the big things is because Oprah gives access to contractors and people throughout the state or the country, there are commercial companies that just Oprah all things just to get information for bidding purposes, for business opportunities. So it's not the local residents that's the problem of Oprah, because that's fine, and I think that's probably what it was originally designed to facilitate, was to open the government up to local people. But the problem is it's being abused. There are people who do nothing but send open requests. They take a lot of time, a lot of hours. And there are also people and companies that actually, they function, they start a lot of lawsuits and file a lot of complaints with the GRC, and they're looking for money, and it does take a lot of time and a lot of resources away from the clerk's office, as well as the other offices that the clerk has to go to. Because Sue can make a request, but she has to go to a department. Now, that department has to rip apart everything and give all the documents. So, again, it's a study is, I mean, it's a good law, but it should be looked at. It really should be looked at.
Thank you. Mr. Bruno, 21 at the administrative agent.
Yeah, so this is the group we spoke about last meeting, Ken?
Yes.
So is there, did we have a contract?
No. Well, it says they're gonna be awarded a contract, but the contract is gonna depend on
the court master.
On the court master, number one, but also what they're gonna be doing for us, and there's no money involved in per se awarding it to them at this particular point. It's just, we're designating them as our administrative agent. It's gonna actually develop. Ultimately, I will come up with the document itself, depending upon what is required in terms of our plan and what has to be done for us.
Okay, so we don't have.
But it is a step that needed to be done to get the court master to sign off on our plan and to get our judgment of repose.
Understood. In the next to last sentence, it says the mayor is hereby authorized to execute such contract. I mean, this is subsequent to the council approving the contract? Is council
Yes.
supposed to?
Subsequent. It's gonna be subsequent.
Do we need language for that, or we just?
No, it says he's authorized, well, there is no contract right now. It gives him authorization to sign a contract with these people. The specifics are not, they're out there yet. They're
But
not
the
done yet.
council will see the contract?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, the compensation proposal will be in the contract, I assume, number 6?
The compensation,
Yeah, number 6. It says compensation proposal.
okay, where's the resolution?
It's just numbers, I assume that's what they're going to put in the contract, right?
Yeah, well, we'll put in the contract the compensation, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And then it says ability to attend meetings if required. I assume we'll pay for that, or that's gonna be part of their fees, or?
Well, they had a breakdown of, and if you remember, some things are paid for by the developer, some things are paid for by different people. So it isn't a question of just saying it's coming out of the budget, that kind of thing. Some things can come out of, as it was explained, can come out of the trust funds,
Okay,
you know, that kind of a thing.
my mic was off, okay.
Motion to approve resolution 19-319, 19-320, 19-321. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Oman?
Yes.
Council President Fasano?
Yes. Motion to adjourn?
Before we adjourn, can I ask that we add something to the conference agenda?
Sure.
I had circulated a document regarding terminal leave payout.
Yeah, that was, okay.
I
So we'll add
neglected.
that under miscellaneous number 7?
Okay, that'd be fine.
Motion to adjourn the
So moved.
public portion of the meeting.
All right.
Aye, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Couple quick PSAs. Santa on the fire truck will be starting his visit to the township at 1 PM on Sunday, December 15th. He will cover both sides of town on this day. Township of Washington Fire Department Christmas tree sale. Be sure to stop by and support our fire department, who will be selling Christmas trees, wreaths, roping, grave blankets, and crosses for all your holiday needs. The annual PBA toy drive. If you wish to donate new unwrapped toys for children, they can be dropped off at the Township of Washington Police Department until December 17th. 2020 commuter parking renewals have been mailed out. In order to avoid a summons, the 2020 commuter parking tags must be displayed on vehicles by Monday, January 6, 2020. 2020 pet licensing renewals will be mailed out between Christmas and New Year's. Email notices. Residents are invited to sign up for email notices by texting Township to 22828 and entering your email address. Moving along to the conference agenda, gentlemen. AXA Advisors 457 plan, Mrs. Witkowski.
While I was attending the New Jersey League of Municipalities, I spoke to the AXA group. They had asked, I mentioned they had said something in earlier this year and hadn't heard back, and I said that I would bring it back to administration to see if it could be considered again. It appears that we're one of the only TVAs in the area, not TVAs, I shouldn't say that, excuse me, townships or towns, that does not have the AXA advisors in the Pascagoula Valley. So they, would like to have a chance to come in and put their plan out there. There's no pressure for anybody to join, but, have people have the competition, have a little bit of choice. I mentioned it to Mr. Tovo and to the mayor before I put on the agenda, and they thought it was well worthwhile to put on. So, that's why it's there. So if you would consider it, I could put a resolution together for next Monday and put it on the agenda, and it'll be just another option for people to do investments with.
Sure.
It's an investment.
Yep.
It's for investing your
Everybody.
457
Yes,
plan.
it's 457, it's just investments.
Investments for what?
Just, if you want to invest, like out of your paycheck, if you want to have a certain.
Oh, for the
Your
employees.
pension.
For employees.
Yes,
yeah.
not for the town.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm okay with it.
Employees investment.
Everybody okay with that, gentlemen, if we put it on? All right, Sue, please go.
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Tovo, 1033 program sample resolution.
Yeah, we previously passed resolutions for this program over the last couple of years, but they are requiring that we do some addendums to the last resolution. On page 2 of that, you'll see the highlighted materials: automobile, wagon, breaching ram, cargo, carrier cargo slash. Those things had to be added as per the federal government, so that they know specifically the items that we're allowed to try to purchase.
So if we have this on for the next meeting, if that's okay?
We can.
Thank you.
I think we did it that way intentionally when we first got into the program, Bob, because we didn't want to go after some other equipment. So apparently now the PD wants to do so. Is that correct?
My understanding was just the opposite. The way it was before, they were allowed to go over or after whatever they wanted to. But now the feds are saying, no, you have to,
You have to limit it?
yeah, you have to limit your
Oh,
search
okay.
criteria.
Okay, all right. I'm fine.
Executed purchase order with Chaconis Pettit LLC. I know Mr. Bruno had the most emails about this, so, I guess where are we with was the purchase order sent out? Do they have their check? Have they started? Does anybody know?
It has been sent out. I've had correspondence with Mr. Chaconis to reach out to me in the event that he needs anything. The delay typically with a new vendor is getting all their documentation to put them in the system. As you can see by the signatures, I believe I signed it a day or two after the council president did, the mayor shortly after. So it is one of the difficulties with new vendors in Edmonds is we need to have all that info before we can move forward with them.
So, I would assume when you put a vendor, you give them a vendor number and they give you a W-9, correct?
We need
Yeah, I
W-9,
can't-
we need their BRC,
Say again?
W-9, BRC, a few other items.
So what don't you have?
I think we have it all now.
So, it'd probably take a couple of minutes to input the system, or when will they get a check?
I would imagine by week's end, I'll have a check.
It's been a long time.
Oh, unless this one has to be, I'm not sure the timing as to where this falls as far as the council approving checks.
Well, we're not gonna start that till January 1st, I was told by the mayor.
Okay.
It's already been encumbered.
Judy, isn't that correct? The bill list,
Yes, because it has to be published,
okay.
so it can't start until January.
Okay, so by, Bob, week's end?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else on that, gentlemen? Sue had put together a quick list. I know the two new councilwomen will need to chime in on this, but just meeting dates for next year. I know she shared this list with the two new councilwomen.
No, they got a package, they have
They
a
got,
package
yeah,
just like
correct,
we
so,
do.
I'd like to add the day after Thanksgiving.
We
So-
had, there were concerns that were brought up to me that 20th of January is Martin Luther King Day, and perhaps we should reschedule that meeting. out of respect for the holiday.
No, that's, just, you know, we're not closed. That's it. But we can, if you want, I can bump it to that Tuesday if that is the preference.
What did we do last year? It didn't fall on?
No, it fell on it.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing, we held it.
I think we held it. All right, so that's.
So I guess, Mr. Cumming had a discussion already about the 20th, and we'll have to review it in January with the new council, right?
Well,
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Well, we gotta do it before, because we
Yeah.
gotta publish it, right?
Yeah, only because Bernadette also is trying to work on the calendar, and that does become a holdup, and then we hear the residents upset because they don't get the calendar until later on in the month. So
Didn't
whatever
we-
we can to.
I thought we
meet the
defunded the
local-
calendar.
Hmm?
I thought we defunded the calendar.
Mr. Tubbo?
I mean, I
we do
don't have any, but I thought it's paid the year before,
Yeah.
so. I didn't think there was gonna be one, but
Did the,
I could be mistaken.
did the-
I recall reducing funding for it because the sponsorships are covering the majority of it.
So,
I'm okay with the calendar as is.
people okay these dates?
Mr. Cumming has an issue with the 20th
I don't,
of January.
I just was curious.
But you did ask him.
Question.
We've always done it on that date. Mm-hmm. For the last 9 years we have. It wasn't a problem. We only don't hold it unless there is an election or, if it's a holiday where the offices are closed. So, I don't know. Doesn't matter to me.
I'm
I just
okay.
rather get it over with.
I'm okay with the dates.
I have no overwhelming personal problem with it.
Okay.
If you want to keep it on schedule.
We can always change it later on.
I won't be at our place in Riviera, so, sure.
I wasn't invited either, but
You're
that's
okay,
okay.
Mr. Cumming?
Mike Ullman and I will be there.
Dr. Cassidy, you okay with it? Sue, we're okay with it?
All right, so we're gonna leave January 20th now?
Yep.
Out of curiosity.
Could everybody just turn their mics back on, if anybody's got it off?
Yeah. Out of curiosity, what is the reason to have it on June 3rd? What am I stupidly
June 2nd is
not?
election day.
June 2nd is election day.
And the first meeting I was here for election, I was here until 1 o'clock in the morning the night before, and had
Yes,
to get up in
ma'am.
the wee hours in the morning to run the election, so
Think-
that doesn't work.
think
I
I've heard
function
that
fine the
story
day after.
before, and I completely understand.
So
Thank you. I knew that was a dumb question, that's what I
No,
said.
there are no dumb questions.
Did we only do one in July and August this year?
Yes,
Yes, we did.
And we've only got one in November
yes, because of the League of Municipalities and the
because
holiday.
of the
League and the
this year with
holiday.
the league?
What's that? The league and the,
Because of the frou-frou this year with the league.
It was insane doing back to back, back to back, back to back. I mean,
Yes.
What's the date? The 16th? That week of
Bless you.
the 16th is your
Yes.
league?
The same as
and if
this
we,
year.
and if we have to add one like we did this November, we add one, that's all.
I would like to go this next year. I didn't go this year and save the taxpayers money.
Well, you didn't,
But-
because you didn't go to the JIF meeting and get your credit.
I'll go to the other one that's up here.
Yeah. All right, so we're good with the dates.
Okay, thank you.
The meeting on, Sue, you want to talk about the reorg meeting?
Well, I'd like a feeling, I know it's tough if the ladies are not here as our new council-elect to really have any kind of an input, but I can also reach out to each one of them myself personally tomorrow. If I'm not mistaken, and, you know, it's been only a few short years, I do not believe we've done an actual reorg on January 1st. Unless we did the very first year, the last couple of years, we've stayed away from the big reorg on January 1.
Yeah, but you swore the new
Right, I
people
was
in.
gonna say, I've sworn in whoever the new candidates are, the mayor, on January 1, I've come in, I've done it, whatever it is, an hour, not even. And then we've scheduled, fallen back into our schedule to do our reorg meeting. However, you will have to do a sign die or city die, however you'd like to put it, you should do that also as well, the same day as the reorg, but that usually takes a great big 5-10 minutes.
Correct.
So, you know, my feeling was leave January 1 for swearing in Councilman Casio, Councilwoman Feeney, Councilwoman Morgan.
Can you put mine off until the 6th? Because I'll wait.
That's, you know. because
Don't I have a
otherwise
couple days, Ken?
I did.
I know we did it last, like when I got elected, we
came
did
in-
it on the first. We
Yeah,
came
I
in and we
prefer
did
that
it.
because you should get sworn in, because that's your new thing. Are you around or no?
I spoke to the.
You're not around?
You're killing me. All right.
No,
All right.
no meeting,
The-
no, you come in for 3 seconds.
You come in for 3 seconds, literally.
You ride by.
Do you have to be sober?
No.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm here.
Maybe you can do it on FaceTime.
All right. All right, I'll come.
Maybe we'll FaceTime you.
Soon 2020 council professional appointments.
All right. I have spoken to Ken back just recently today. We spoke about this as well. I was going to ask how the council, I mean, it's tough because we've got a change in council. We have all of our professionals this year. I don't know what the direction of the council would like to be for next year. Speaking to Mr. Pollard, the suggestion was to send out the pay-to-play documents to all who we have now, all professionals, and get it just in-house. If something were to change, we would go in that direction. If it was to stay the same, we would at least have it in-house and get them on board instead of waiting another month or two. It was just wanted to put out there to see how you felt about it. As a council, I know.
You okay with that, Mr. Cumming, Mr. Cascio? I think that's a good
Yes.
way to go. Start with who we have, and then if they change, they change.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all right. Just get it going. In case we need services, we have it already in play.
Ken, municipal consent for Cross River Fiber?
Can we just back up?
Wait,
one
this-
question?
I'm sorry, zoning board members.
That's okay. The zoning board members, the letters of intent actually, or interest, I should say. Actually, I put them out today. I received from one member, the interest of coming back on board, saying she had not heard. I said last week being a short week, it did not do it like I planned. Excuse me. But this morning, I put out 3 emails to all 3 saying if you're interested, please put in writing. I will present it to the council, the new council, for consideration. And we'll see. I gave them till December 31st, and we'll see who comes back. That's interested, but all 3 candidates got it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pollard, consent for Cross River
Yeah,
Fiber?
I did speak, as a follow-up, I did speak with the representative. We are working on putting into the contract police expenses and any other ancillary expenses that, so the
And then
town
we'll have a new one.
will have it in there. Yep, so we're gonna work
So
on
that's
it.
moving forward?
It's moving forward, yeah.
All right. The vape shop, very, touchy subject. We lost in court.
Planning board,
Planning board lost in court.
thank you.
I think, we dropped the ball because we didn't do the ordinance when we said we were gonna do it. We waited too long. So, some of the buck stops here. But what is do we have any,
Well, first of all, if you're gonna talk about recourse, you better talk it closed.
Okay.
And it's actually, if
Out
you
of
wanna
our
talk
purview?
about it, talk about it closed.
Okay, thank you. So that's what we'll do.
What exactly,
They got approval,
They got approval. They can open up whenever they want.
but but I don't know that they are at this point.
I know, but the approval is that he can go,
The approval, the court ruled in their favor, but I don't know that anything's happened or whether they have an intention to actually move forward at this point. Nobody knows that either, at this point.
the borough attorney opinion, Mr. Pollard, the council has asked.
Yep, I'll have that.
We'll have that for Monday night?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Can we
Can we have
have
it
it?
a couple
You'll have
days?
it, you'll have it before Monday, you'll have it,
So Sue will have it Friday, so she
yes,
can
you will,
send-
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Ullman, you had asked the terminal leave payout be put on.
yeah, so at the last meeting, there was, Mr. Bruno raised a question about the calculation. And, because quite honestly, I didn't understand the calculation. I had requested from Mr. Tovo, who provided the documentation of the existing contract, the calculation of the payout, and other items that would be necessary to make that determination. And I did a analysis, and it's strictly my opinion, but I came up with a third number, which I shared with, I believe, with Michael, and he shared it with the rest of the council.
Well, I had Sue share with me. I
Yes.
don't want to be,
Correct. So I,
You got it.
I did
Yeah, you got it.
that series of emails
Yeah, yeah.
that I
Well,
read.
I don't wanna send it, cause I don't want anybody to accuse me of violating OPMA, you know, like, God forbid.
No.
so I guess my question is, what is the way to move this forward? Because, you know, again, it's strictly my opinion, but I think based on my interpretation of the contract, my calculation has some merit, because you can't use two different bases. There's a, there was a terminal bank that was, the chief had, which was a number of days, and there is language in the contract that talks to a 35-hour week, which equates to a 7-hour day, which equates to 7 hours times that bank is the hours paid. So, I don't understand how we can use two different bases. And, how is this addressed?
Okay, so, I guess I'm gonna jump in here, okay? Yeah, okay, so let me just say from the start that I have not been involved with this. I have not seen anything about this other than seeing an email today. I just wanted that to be clear, that I have not been involved in any calculations, consultations, anything to the contrary. I just want to get that out there. If you want, and I don't have to do this, I'm just offering it, okay? Seems to me that somebody's got to look at the contract, got to look at the, how the calculations were made and make a legal determination of what amount of money was due. That could be done by me, it could be done by your labor lawyer. I mean, this is, to me, it's a labor thing too. You want to get your labor lawyer to look at it, you can look at it. You want me to take a look at it, I will take a look at it. It makes no difference to me.
Are you comfortable, is it something Mr. Wish should look at?
It doesn't seem to me to be kind of a labor intense thing. It's a calculation.
If I figured it out, it
I
can't be
know.
too
That-
difficult.
I'm
No,
just,
but
I'm just throwing it out.
No,
I'm just throwing it out, Mike,
but
because
Ken-
I haven't been involved with it, and I don't necessarily want to get involved with it.
But Ken, I guess the crux of it is that gentleman submitted the voucher with what appears to be what Mr. Ullman came up with, within a few dollars. And then the voucher was changed to add like tens of thousands of dollars to it.
Okay, so I look,
I don't.
again, I don't know anything about this, Mike, so I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about what
Okay.
happened. I have no idea. I was not consulted, I did not look at, I
We'll
have no
take it.
idea, I have no
Yeah.
idea. So all I'm saying to you is this, you want me to look at it, I'll be happy to look at it. If you don't want me to look at it, and you want Mr. Wiss to look at it, he'll look at it. That's the, but to me, if you were, because I know this is not an, this is the kind of thing where you're applying the contractual basis for what somebody's entitled to, and hours and rates and numbers, so it doesn't seem like it's rocket science, but again, I don't wanna do it if people don't want me to do it, I'll be happy to turn it over to Mr. Wiss, or I'll do it, whichever you want.
Well, it depends on what your answer is, but, so I guess my question would be, well, twofold. One is, as the township attorney, should you have been engaged earlier in this process?
No, because plenty of people are paid plenty of things on compensation. Not everything has to go through me. It
Okay.
only goes through me. I mean, if there's somebody sees an issue that they need a legal interpretation, they would ask me. Otherwise, there's Judy's here, there's plenty of financial people involved, or administrators here, there's other people that do other jobs. I don't
Okay.
have that
The s-
function.
The
so.
second question I have is, based on the way the terminal leave was calculated, or the payment was calculated, there is a new contract that is contemplated for the police. I don't believe it's been signed yet. That changes the hours of the total hours that those individuals work. So I guess my question is, if they carry a terminal bank into the new contract, what is the impact of that?
Mr. Tovo, aren't we eliminating that, Mr. Tovo, for anybody that hasn't accrued?
Yeah, I thought terminal.
It's already been eliminated.
It's already been
I thought
eliminated.
it was
There's no term, so there's no terminal bank?
There's no terminal leave left. We paid it out.
Yeah.
We said either they were gonna
think
take
that's
it
right.
capped at this year's salary or get it paid out, and then they all agreed they wanted it paid out. So there is no future, this is the last terminal leave
Correct.
payment that's gonna be made.
Okay.
So it's,
Anyone who is entitled to terminal leave payment it's already been made, right, Mr. Tovo?
okay.
Is that a fact? They've been paid?
That's what, I believe,
Well,
Or the check.
We don't have all the paperwork in yet, so not all the checks have been cut.
So they haven't been paid?
No.
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So, you know, again,
Yeah, that's a different story, yeah.
well, you know, we make a decision to pay people, you actually brought it up, and they
I
still.
wanted to get rid of it,
right,
yeah.
And they still haven't been paid. So I guess the question is, to Mr. Ullman's, what are they gonna get paid at?
When we have the appropriate paperwork from them, they will get paid for it.
No, what are they gonna get paid at what rate? We just talked about hours, potentially, even though we haven't seen the contract in 16 months still. So what are the hours of the week that they're gonna be paid at?
I'd have to check what the hours are. I don't recall if they were 8 or 7.25, whatever the old schedule was.
And if they get paid for 19, if the payout's in
It was
19,
we agreed it was gonna be a 19 payout.
and
It's a 19 payout, whatever they had in 19.
they're operating without a contract, but that contract is back valued to January 1st, 2019, you know, what is the calculation?
Based on the 2019 salary.
But what about the hours?
That's it, it's gonna be the number of hours times their hourly rate. So if your question is, how are we coming to the figure, I have to look at the contract to see what the hours per week worked are. I think it's a 37.5 hour work week, so they're based on that number. Both the accumulation and the payout.
But don't the hours of the week, because moving to Pittman, or no, Pittman won't be effective?
Until January.
Till January.
Okay, then that's
And technically, it's
Are we
not-
gonna have enough time to get the contract in place, Mr. Tovo, to get it?
My understanding is almost done.
But we only have one more council meeting to, are we gonna have to have a special meeting before the end of the year to get them on board for the first?
I have called Mr. Wiss tomorrow, so I'll find out when it will be complete.
Because if it's not Monday night, then we'll have to have a special meeting in order to approve it, to move forward.
Schedule.
I
We don't
guess-
need to do it. We don't need to do it.
What I don't understand is we signed the memorandum of agreement months ago, and they countersigned. So you just incorporate this in a contract, and we still don't have a contract for 4 months. Why?
Well, I can't answer for the attorneys, they're the ones that hash out the contract.
No, I know, but the attorney has a memorandum of agreement. We signed, they countersigned, we all agreed. I think I even asked the question, who were the signatories, because I didn't know. So
And they added that sheet to the page.
3-4 months ago, you know, here's all the terms of a contract, and we have no contract. So either the attorney's not doing his job, or someone's not telling him to do it, or we're intentionally stalling it, or I don't know what the answer is.
Well,
but at
none of the
this
above.
point-
I would imagine the scheduling between the two attorneys may be the difficulty there.
But there's a memorandum of agreement. All the
I
points that
understand
are
all that.
supposed to be, well, no, I don't think you understand. it.
No, I do.
All the points that are supposed to be made in the contract have been finalized. So you take those points, and you go to your Word document, and you incorporate them in a contract. So
Well,
why is
actually,
it taking 4 months?
The lawyers take that MOU and they put it into the contract.
Yeah, right, so
not
what,
me,
so
not
why is it
PBA.
taking 4 months? Are we telling the guy we want it?
Well,
we-
I'll
we
ask
want
him
it
tomorrow why it took so long.
Not why it took so
I
long,
guess-
ask him where is it? We want it.
As I told you, I was told it was nearly complete.
It's absurd, it's like the Wild Wild West here, everybody does what they wanna do.
I guess, Mr. Bruno, Mr. Tovo, if we could just make sure, if we have to have a meeting, so Sue can schedule it. If it's
Understood.
not ready for Monday.
Schedule.
We
Schedule
need,
it. Schedule
we need
over
the
a meeting.
contract, we need it done, and we need it done
Or
before
else
the
we're gonna have to have a special meeting
before
next.
the end of the year.
Well, we got one more meeting Monday night.
Yes, sir.
So if we don't get the contract.
I understand.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
I
have a special
understand
meeting.
the urgency.
You guys still wanna do it?
I mean, how do the employees wait a year plus without signing a contract and have no increases or anything?
so.
I know you can't answer that question, but, you know, I've done 4 or 5 contracts with union employees out of the meat district. And if we went after 2 weeks after the contract was due, it'd be a different story. I mean, I just don't understand the delay. We're paying people. I still see bills from WIS that we're paying. I don't know what he's doing, but apparently nobody's incorporating this into a contract. And I know you're not the attorney, but someone's got to tell these people, we want a contract. You agree, Ken? I know you're not involved with it, but
Yeah,
you
I'm not
know.
involved, but it is a long time.
Huh?
It's been a while.
I mean, it's crazy. You know that.
It's up there with COA.
Yeah.
Cloud?
It's in the cloud.
So we'll set up dates and we'll have a contract.
AWS Cloud Services.
Yeah. Gentlemen, motion to enter
Can
into
I,
closed.
can I just ask one
Oh,
other
sure.
question? Just out of curiosity, with the prior police chief had a contract. We just promoted Captain Skinner to police chief. Is there a contract, or is he an at-will employee?
It's no contract now, is it? There's no contract.
There's no contract for him as of now. He has not requested one as of yet.
He what?
He has not requested one as of yet.
Thank you.
Motion to enter into closed session, gentlemen.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. We will not be coming back from closed session, so. Can we take a quick 5-minute break so Ricky can shut the microphones off? And the, and then get the cameras?